Very warm welcome and very good morning to you. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. Of course, you know, it is on Tuesday. And when it is on Tuesday, it's Legal Tuesday, where we bring you legal matters or issues related to legal area. And of course, trying to see what is it that we can be able to do to ensure that we have these particular issues being looked into in the right perspective. And of course, we have a very interesting discussion that we have prepared for you today. My colleague Kagi is on a sabbatical, but of course, we are still going to continue. Now, today we are going to focus on the rights of widows, the rights of widows. Now, do we have the rights of widows in this particular country, and are they really safeguarded? Are those rights looked into? What are some of the challenges that widows in the country go through? What are some of the issues that bedevil this very important group in the society? And what does the society need to do to ensure that these rights are upheld? What can we do as a society to ensure that we better their lives, we better their welfare, we better all issues that are related to them? Is there any gap as far as law is concerned? Is it time that we have our parliamentarians look into this particular area in a very weighty manner? Do they need to give it the attention that is supposed to have? Now, this is a conversation that we are going to get into today, and of course, we are not going to leave you behind. In a short while, we shall also be welcoming and interacting with you, welcoming your views, welcoming your opinions, welcoming your perspectives on the same. We'll also be joined by two guests that will also help us to get into the details of our conversation or the details of our discussion, and I'll be introducing them in a short while. I'll be having Dr. Mary Mugambi, the Director, Tabernacle Widows Foundation, and we'll also be joined by Anne Kosgei, also Director at Tabernacle Widows Foundation. So they will be here in a short while to tell us what is it that they do as far as looking into the plight of widows is concerned. They'll be able to help us understand some of the rights of widows and how these particular rights are being considered or actually being taken into consideration in the society, and of course all other details that pertains to the same. And later on, we'll also find out from Kenyans what they think about the challenges that widows go through as far as their rights are concerned, and what maybe needs to be done to ensure that those particular rights are given the attention, are given the priority that they deserve. So we'll be able to have that particular segment. And of course, we are also inviting your opinions on the same. And the question that we are asking you in the show, so that you can begin to give us your opinions and your take, is what are the main challenges facing widows in our Kenyan society? What are some of the main challenges that you think are facing widows in our Kenyan society? You can begin to share with us your thoughts. You can share with us your perspectives on the same, and of course we'll be glad to also see what your contribution is. And of course, you can direct your opinion, you can direct your thoughts on 23814. That is for our shortcode platform. 23814. You can also interact with us on our social media pages. You can have us on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV, and YouTube, that is MBCI TV Official. As we continue, we'll be glad to also find out what are some of your thoughts on this particular discussion. So at this particular juncture, let me take this opportunity now to welcome my guest for this particular discussion. And as I had introduced them, or as I had mentioned, I'm being joined by Dr. Mary Mugambi, is a director at Tabernacle Widows Foundation. Karibu sana. A very good morning to you.
Very good morning. Thank you for having us today.
Yes, thank you so much, Director Mary Mugambi. And I'm also being joined by Anne Kosgei, is also a director at Tabernacle Widows Foundation. Karibu sana, Director.
Thank you very much.
Asanteni sana, karibuni sana. Looking forward for a very fruitful conversation, even as you help us understand the plight that maybe widows go through in the society. And of course, I know we've just marked the International Day for the Widows, and maybe probably so many people are not even aware about, you'll also be in a position to help us get into that. So you're most welcome, our dear viewer, and those are the guests that we're going to have in this particular conversation. So feel free to continue interacting with us, and we'll be glad to also see what is it that you can tell us about this particular discussion. So karibuni tena wageni wetu, and let me just begin with you, Director Mary Mugambi. Just take us into a very brief background of what we mean when we talk about the International Day for the Widows. I think our director will be telling us about that in a short while, so that we can be in a position to understand what we mean, because maybe even so many people are not aware that we have what we call the International Day for the Widows. I know we have so many days that we mark in the country, and some of these particular days we normally see them being given a very, very major or a very, very a priority in terms of maybe the preparation that is done, the activities that maybe are being conducted. For example, when maybe you hear we have what we call the International Day maybe for the environment, you'll be able to realize, or you'll be able maybe to be told that there is so much activities, and maybe sometimes we are seeing so many of our government stakeholders actually taking part and being at the center stage just to ensure that the success of that particular day is actually achieved. So is it the same when it comes now to also marking the days for the women? So Director Mary, karibu sana. As we begin with you, kindly get us a very brief background of what we mean when you talk about the International Days for Widows.
Thank you once more, Mola, for having me. Regrettably, when we talk about International Widows Day, it is really very regretting. Why? Because it is not put in consideration, and many people do not, in fact, many people, many departments do not embrace that day, and it is not marked as a day that is very important. The struggle for fighting for widows' rights started way back in 1954, when one young man, Raj Loba, a resident of India, the father died and the mother was left a widow. And this lady went through such discrimination, and it was very humiliating for this young man and the siblings to live. And therefore, he developed a heart of philanthropist to looking into very many widows' journey that is full of pain, full of hurt. And this young man fought and struggled all the way from 1954. The plight of the widows were able to be established in 2005. You can imagine, very many years. And therefore, when we talk of International Widows Day, or when we talk of the plight of the widows, it is a matter that has not been taken so seriously in the society. It is a matter that has not been considered even by our government. Why? Because like yesterday when we were marking the International Widows Day, I was full of tears, looking at so many widows seated under very hot sun, burning. I was imagining if it was another day that was being marked, maybe International Women's Day or any other great day, I was imagining how many tents we would be having in the field. And so the journey fighting for the rights of the widows has remained, a plight that nobody thinks about. It is a matter that many people don't consider. Okay. Even in our churches, I want to really challenge our churches and my fellow pastors. We have all these widows all over in our churches. And I was waiting. Actually, I sat silent, waiting to see how many pastors were going to recognize that day. Because actually, it's meant to be on 23rd of June every year. And so I was waiting. I even sat in my church and I was waiting to hear if, even in the social media, whether I will see widows recognized. So I know this is a struggle, and I want to register my gratitude, and I salute Bishop Ben Kiengei. I looked into it, and he was the only pastor who was able to treat the widows in his church with dignity. So the plight and the struggle for widows, values for widows' rights, it has remained silent. And the people who have tried probably to even fight for them, most of them have their own personal, they have their own personal, they fight for their personal gain.
And we'll be coming to maybe some of the challenges that maybe even you, as maybe people who have come out to try to be in a position to find out what is it that maybe society needs to do. What are some of the issues that maybe you're actually facing? What are some of the issues that maybe you're encountering? But let me also invite Director Anjib Kosgei into this, and because it's a global issue. It's a global issue. If you are to look at maybe the Kenyan perspective, maybe compared to other countries, in terms of maybe how we look into this International Day for the Widows, even as we probably focus maybe on some of their rights, what do you think Kenya, or how do you think maybe Kenya has actually fared?
Thank you very much. Actually, when we see in our perspective, Kenya has not done any far about widows, because they're still struggling. They're still struggling in their churches, in the community, at their workplace. No one knows about the widows. And by their perspective, they think widows, they are not important people in the community, and even what they think about them, like thinking bad about the widows, like in the community, they are not allowed to be in front of the leadership in the churches, and they are placed somewhere.
Okay. Thank you so much. And at this particular juncture, of course, we'll be in a position to continue with this particular conversation. As we come back, Director Mary will help us even understand what are some of these rights of widows that we are talking about, because even maybe so many people assume, or maybe even so many people are not even aware, so they end up maybe failing these widows only for them maybe not to realize or to have any information about those particular rights. But we have a short skit that our team has prepared for you in relation to this particular conversation on the rights of widows, and my director is telling me we can now have that particular skit to also give us, or to create for us the stage for us to continue with this particular talk. Let's have that short skit.
Nenda pole pole.
Hiyo pole pole.
Yangu nenda mbio.
Nikienda mbio, nenda nyuma ya ukweli. Mbele pole pole na unifiki.
Siko fiki. Ndio hiyo. Nikishinda. Yangu ni kubwa.
Kujanga itaenda hivi. Mama. Kuja nitolee gari hapa.
Umefanya nini? Tuko sawa.
Endelee.
Nani huyo sasa saizi? Karibu mama. Nilikuwa nafungua.
Unakaa masaa mangapi ndio ufungue mlango?
Na nimekuja tu saa hizi.
Umetoka wapi?
Nilikuwa naangalia mtoto.
Umemaliza kuomboleza? Siku zimeisha, umemaliza? Don't pretend. Leta ufunguo ya gari. Leta ufunguo ya gari.
Mama, kwa nini nimekukosea tena?
Wewe, tusiulizane maswali. Umeua kijana yangu. Leta ufunguo ya gari. Sitaki maneno.
Nimemuaje na tunaombeleza pamoja?
Hebu leta kifunguo ya gari. Usifanye hasira yangu ipande. Nimelia ya kutosha. Leta kifunguo ya gari. Hebu lete.
Mama,
unataka tusubuane?
Ni nini mama?
Unataka tusubuane?
Tulikuwa tu sawa. Hata sijamaliza kuomboleza.
Wewe, unataka kuomboleza miaka ngapi? Au miezi ngapi? Imeisha, don't pretend. Leta ufunguo ya gari kwanza. Wewe, hebu lete. Umeweka wapi? Nyumba yako hujui mahali unawekaga vitu?
Mama, ni nini unataka sasa?
Documents ziko wapi? Leta title deed zote. Na ukuje na Martin.
Mama, lakini si bado tunaomboleza.
Tusiulizane maswali. Tusiulizane maswali. Umesikia?
Kwa tulikosana, tulikuwa tu sawa.
Unajua, you know what you did. Enda ulete mtoto.
Basi aliuliwa na ugonjwa, kwa nini mimi?
Ugonjwa gani? Ugonjwa gani? Nimuua. I know what you did. Enda ulete document na ukuje na mtoto. Ndio tuongee mzuri. Cha kujifanya hapa. Nilijua tangu siku ile ulikuja hapa. Ulikuwa unataka uchukue mali. Na kanyanga moto. I cannot tolerate this. Uharakishe.
Sasa nini?
Sijari. Baba. Sasa tutakuwa unakaa na shosho, si ndio? Si shosho ni mzuri? Yes, you are good boy.
Hebu leta, unanichukulia hadi watoto.
Ni nini ulikuja nayo hapa? Ulikuja na nini? Leta watoto wangu.
Unataka sasa nifanye nini? Unataka niende wapi?
Tusisumbuane. Ulikuwa umetoka wapi? Una kwenu? Una kwenu?
Tafadhali.
Mtoto akilia utaona. Baby boy. Sasa nyinyi wa shosh. Kuja twende. Kuja twende. Hebu ende uchukue nguo zako.
Mimi bado naomboleza. Unataka niende wapi?
Usirudie maneno, acha kujirudia.
Unataka nifanye nini?
Kwanza hata hakuna kitu ulikuja nayo.
Ninaenda wapi saa hizi na ni usiku?
Wewe. Vile tu uliingia usiku ukajificha ndio tu utatoka.
Mimi siendi. Unataka niende wapi saa hizi?
Una kwenu? Na ni nini tunarudia? Nini tunarudia?
Mimi siendi, hakuna pali naenda. Huku ndo nimeolewa.
Wewe wacha nikwambie. Kucheza utacheza. Utacheza mzuri. Kuja twende kwa gari. Kuja twende tukatembea. Ni huyu mama.
Toka nje.
Welcome back. Thank you so much, and congratulations our drama team for such a captivating and very emotional skit there, just trying to illuminate and describe our conversation on the rights of widows. And of course, I am still having my guest here, Dr. Mary. I could see you looking at it very emotionally.
Very sad.
What do you make of that?
Very sad.
It reminds me of very many widows who come to me crying like that. It has reminded me so many widows that even now are going through this. I don't know why mothers-in-law and the in-laws at large normally think that the properties that have been left for the widow when the husband dies, I don't know what it makes them think that property does not belong to the woman. I don't know at what point the society thinks that a widow is good for nothing. And I want the whole world to know that the Bible says in the book of Job, chapter 14 and verses 5, that the hour and time of the life of a human being lies in the hands of the Lord. So God knows when you will depart. He knows when you marry, if I am your husband, I am your wife, he knows who will go first. Okay. The calendar is with God. It is not with the woman. Exactly what that script is really displaying is exactly the problems and the painful journey a widow starts immediately after the report of a husband.
So Director Anne, what we've just seen on the screen, this is just a very, very real example of what
it is terrible.
You interact with.
That is what we undergo with these widows. Wow. They really cry. They are thrown out of their matrimonial home. Their things are taken before even they bury their husbands. The ID is taken, the certificates, the logbooks, the clothes, they're being taken, all of them, before even they bury their husbands. Most of them, even they come with the clothes of their husband, the in-laws. They wear their suits of their husband, the clothes. When they are burying their husbands, they sing another husband coming because of the clothes that they wear. Wow. They take everything, even the cars, the shamba, and they incite the baby, the kids. They incite them that their mother killed their daughter, their father.
Wow. That is quite terrible, and it's so unfortunate. When you look at this, Director Mary, because now this is something that has taken place for a very long time.
It is.
Why is it that maybe we've not been in a position actually to see something being done to fix this very, very problem?
There has been a conception, a very bad conception, because we have walked into many offices and we have involved so many people, experts, trying to see why doesn't this painful experience for widows is not looked at. Yes. The conception is people think women are murderers. They think anytime there is a husband dying, it is the woman who is the cause. There's that conception. And I remember one time I discussed with some MCAs and they were saying, we cannot even try to start legislating or even trying to deliberate on the rights of a widow. Why? Because we will empower these widows to continue murdering.
And now those are elected leaders.
These are elected leaders
who are giving that kind of...
So we had to put it in black and white. And like we even asked them, what do you think? Why do you think a woman would kill their husband? And you know, murderers are in jail. Yes. Of course, we have had women who murder their husbands because of maybe their own differences. Yes. But natural death, the death that is caused by the Creator, the one who gave life, it reaches a point when the one who gave life also takes the life. So it is the conception.
So in terms of goodwill, it's really missing, even maybe among those who are the key decision makers.
Exactly, of the society. Exactly. And then they give it a blind eye. And widows go through hell. In Tabernacle Widows Home, we have so many widows who are thrown out and slept in the marketplace, like luggages. If they start giving their testimony ever since we started working with them in the year 2018, most of them have healed, but the trauma is still in them. The experience is very bad. And how I pray today, as we continue marking in this week, International Widows Day, how I pray that our legislators would look into this matter so closely and see what they can do. Because we need to have a policy that governs the property of a widow. And again, I know we have those laws that govern, but these widows do not even understand. By the time they go to the court, already the property has been taken. Because the first day when the husband dies, they start humiliation exactly that day. You can imagine a mother-in-law telling a daughter-in-law that your period for mourning is over. Give me the documents. That is what, and again, this is even better. The cultural practices that we do in Kenya are so dirty. There are areas where a widow, when you're a widow, you're supposed to wear one shoe. Our widows in Pokot, Turkana, those areas, you are forced to remove most of the bangles, the necklaces. You know the way they put so many? For you to be identified that you are a bad omen, you are a widow, you removed all of them, remained with one. And that one makes you marked that you are a widow and a bad omen.
Thank you so much, Director Mary. We'll come back with much more on that. Even as you give us a practical scenario of what happens maybe when a widow goes to seek help, maybe from the court, maybe from the police station, when their rights have been violated. What is the scenario like? We'll share with us that and much more. But we just want to take a short break at this particular juncture. When we come back, we have some testimonies of some widows who talked to us on some of the plight that they have gone through ever since they lost their husbands. We'll be able to watch that and also get some reactions also from Kenyans on what they think are the main challenges being faced by widows. Let's have that short break as we prepare to come back with plenty more on the second round.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Jipatie ploti ya 50 by 100 katika mandhari mazuri na ya kuvutia V1 Estate kwa shilingi 1649. Ploti hii inapatikana mkabala na Simba Cement, dakika 5 tu kutoka kwenye barabara kuu ya Nakuru Eldoret. Ploti hii ni mwafaka kwa kuishi. Kuna maji ya borehole na stima katika kila ploti. Ploti hizi zinaweza kufikiwa kwa urahisi kwani ziko karibu na barabara ya tarmac. Nunua sasa na upate miti iliyokomaa katika kila ploti. Tuma jina Nakuru kwa 21404 au tupigie 0758707050 au tutembelee jijini Nakuru Tower 1 Building. Haiso Properties, a culture of trust.
The Pastors' Wives Fellowship Kenya, Nyeri chapter, in conjunction with the Wailing Mothers Prayer Movement, invites you all to the Wailing Prayer Feast 2024. A 21 days of prayer and fasting conference from the 9th to the 30th of June 2024 at the Kamukonji grounds in Nyeri town. The guest ministers will be Mama Ada Adoyo.
Call your daughters and teach them how to weigh.
Dr. Lucy Nganga.
When Christ restored, he restored the inner man.
Pastor Lucy Painter.
If you press on to know me, I will respond.
Reverend Evans Chumo.
Do a messengers of righteousness.
Prophet Paul Moneki.
Jesus paid the price for me. I own it.
Apostle Julius Subi.
I'm gonna pray until I see change coming in my life.
Bishop Harrison K. Nganga.
Jue kulinda nafsi yako.
And Prophetess Winnie Andrew.
May we have women who will be ignited to build arks for their children.
The theme is Weep for yourselves and for your children. Luke 23 verse 28. We have a great program lined up from the morning devotion at 5 a.m., morning sessions from 9 a.m., lunch hour sessions from 12 noon, all the way to the evening sessions from 4 p.m. On the 29th of June, there will be a prayer proclamation march culminating with a climax worship rally on Sunday the 30th of June from 3 p.m. Boarders will need to register with 1,000 Kenya shillings via M-Pesa till number 4462620. For more information, call us on 0720 674404. See you there. Shalom.
MBCI Television, transforming life.
So you're most welcome back to this discussion we're having right here on your favorite channel, MBCI TV. Today is Legal Tuesday, and today our focus is on the rights of widows. Now, this is a very integral part in the society, but unfortunately, and even from our guest conversation, it is it is like that is a reality that as a country, as a society, we've neglected this very, very important group in the society, and there's quite a number of atrocities being meted on them. Now, it's a very, very unfortunate turn of events, and this is why we need to get into this conversation and try to find out, try to bring us onto the table and find out what is it that needs to be done to ensure that we have a correction of these. Now, we have some testimonies that we got from some widows during the International Day for the Widows, and before we continue with the conversation with my guest, my director can help us have some of those testimonies, just to get to find out what is it that they said about their lives when they became widows, and how it is or what is it that has actually happened in their lives since then. Let's have that testimony.
So katika ile hali ya msaada ilikuwa ngumu sana. Kila mtu aliondoka, familia pia hawakuamini, marafiki pia na kanisa pia ilifika mahali hawako wanaamini, kwa sababu mambo yalikuwa mengi sana ambao unaongelelewa kwamba huyu hatakai. Kitu ya maana sana ambayo ilinisaidia, nilimtumainia Mungu. Nilimshikilia Mungu, nilikaa chini na nikajiita mkutano, na nikakaa na nikaona ya kwamba what next after sasa imefanyika, what next, sababu unaangalia sikuwa na kazi.
Kwa majina naitwa Penina wa Jogo Githai, na mimi ni mjane zaidi ya miaka 25, na ninashukuru Mungu kwa sababu tumepitia mambo mengi na watoto wangu. Kuna mzee alikuwa anataka damu, tukajitolea na mtoto wangu kwenda kumpe mtoto wangu wa pili, akasema yeye hawezi patio damu na watu wa ukimwi. Kwa hivyo nimepitia changamoto mingi sana, lakini nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu mimi sikuwa mgonjwa, watoto wangu hawakuwa wagonjwa, na sikuambia watoto wangu siku hiyo. Nilikuja kuambia kama baba yake ameaga 2000 mwezi wa 6. Nikawaambia baba yenu alikufa juu alikuwa positive. Wakastuka. Lakini mimi nikawaambia mimi sikufi. Mimi ni negative na sisi tuna Mungu. Nimepitia dhuluma mingi sana. Hata msichana wangu akafanya harusi akiwa na 26 years. Wengine wakaenda paka kwa bishop. Wakamwambia unakubali huyu kijana ni mgeni na aoe nyumba ya ukimwi. Lakini walijua sina ukimwi. Ninashukuru wahubiri wangu juu ya kusimama na mimi na kunitia moyo. Ndipoza niko siku ya leo. Hata kama watu wanaona kama ningekufa, niko uhai. Kwa hivyo nimetoka mbali. Na nimepitia majaribu paka ya marafiki. Na Mungu amenisaidia. Nashukuru Mungu. Pita mapito mengi ya wajane, lakini sijawahi pata kikundi kama hiki ambaye hatuitishi registration, ambaye hatuitishi lolote. Tunakuja kufurahi, na vile utaona tukifahamiana, hata tukiomba tunakuwa tumefurahi. Furaha tu, kugawio furaha. Tukapata wazazi wa kutushika na mikono. Wajane wataki kitu kingine, kupendwa tu, kupendwa tu.
Well, thank you. Yeah, those are some of the experiences that were being shared by a number of widows during the marking of the International Day for Widows. And karibuni tena wageni wetu. Those are just two, but as we could see in those pictures, there are so many of them that actually gathered during that particular event. And apparently each and every one of them has that unfortunate experience that they are talking about. Now, Director Mary, even as I bring you on board, when you're talking about people being aware, people being educated about the rights of widows, what are some of these rights that we are talking about?
Thank you. There are so many rights that people need to be sensitized about. One is about their right of ownership of their properties. It is the right of a widow to own the properties that they garnered together with the husband. Because these are two and God calls them one. So the society needs to know that whatever properties the man has together with the wife when they are alive, when one departs, then the property remains to be the other ones. And this happens to be the widow. The other thing...
And still on that, because I think that is now where most of them really come into problems with. Looking at it and how people do that, especially maybe some of them, it's actually even their relatives, very close members, they come and take this property away. Is it that it is absolutely impossible for the law to take its course and have those properties actually taken back to the widow?
It is not impossible. It is very possible for the law to make it so clear and to protect the rights of these widows. As you just asked me, what are the areas of sensitization? The very key area of sensitization is to the in-laws, especially the relatives that are related with the husband, because there is where the problem starts. Now, the relatives of a man who dies and leaves a lady he had married, it is very important for any person to understand that the properties for this man belongs to that woman. And culturally, there are so many cultural practices. We also need to sensitize every cultural belief. I don't know where they got it from, to make sure that a woman is not good for nothing. Actually, the Bible calls a woman a helper. Before that woman came to the life of that man, he had nothing. So they have now gathered, they have brought their resources together and acquired some land, acquired some cars, acquired whatever they have. Even if it's a small land, maybe the one that the man was given by the husband, I mean the father. This should be sensitized. And us as Tabernacle Widows Home, we are ready to take it there. If the government would hold our hand, we are ready to take it spiritually and practically explain to these people, and we make them understand. Like, let me just take a few minutes to explain a scenario that we encountered in Ravine. Apparently in Ravine, when a man marries, they are only shown where to build. They are told from here to there is your place. So they build and this man marries and the wife stays there. So when they stay there and the husband dies, the brothers, the relatives, they now come after that piece of land. And you know you have no right. You cannot say this is my place. It is only because when your husband married you, the father showed you a place to build. When you build there and this man is no more.
So it doesn't matter even when the woman, the widow in this particular case, even if she has maybe the title deed showing that is her portion.
She is
or
thrown.
In most cases, even those documents are not there.
She is thrown away.
She's thrown away.
She is thrown out.
Forcefully.
Forcibly. Changed. And she is even forcefully they make sure she can even confess, they can even testify and say, it is not my property. And you know that now you are under pressure. Number one, you don't even want to report them to the chief because they are good friends of the chief. They have better money than you. Yes. By the way, a widow, let me tell you, I have seen widows who are learned. When the husband dies, English goes because of the humiliation. You are humiliated until you cannot even remember one word of English. You are working. I have met so many women prayed for so that they can be again start working. Because at that point you cannot work anymore because you are emotionally hurt.
Yeah, you're emotionally hurt. Yeah, the Director Anne, when you look at the aspect of culture, because apparently it seems some of these violations take root because of some of the retrogressive cultures that we have. What do you think really needs to be done to ensure that we don't just as a society maybe pay attention to some of the cultures that can actually maybe put our women, especially when they become widows, in a very, very bad situation?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think because of the culture, I think the families and the community should respect the widows. When there is respect, it is better, because now, because of lack of respect, that's why they inherited, they are done those bad things. But because when there is lack of respect, I want the government to make a commitment that the widows should be respected. Because if you're not respected, you are going to be tortured, you're going to be humiliated, you're going to be abused, because there is no law to govern the widows. If there was law, if the men could know that if they touch this widow, you will be going to court, you will be arrested, they will fear the women, and they'll respect their properties and their children.
Wow. Yes. And of course, one of the challenges, Director Mary, before we just get a few to see some of the reactions from Kenyans, when it comes for those maybe who would want maybe now to take an action because their rights have been violated, their property has been taken away, and it basically rightfully belongs to them. How is the journey like when they want now to try to ensure that the law really helps them in this particular case when they get maybe to the courts?
Yeah, the journey is again very challenging. Why? Because for them to report the case and for them to be probably be assisted by the court, you need to have money for the lawyer, you need to have money for the court processions and all that kind of stuff.
Of them cannot afford.
They cannot afford. Remember, they have been thrown out of their matrimonial home. If the husband had bank statements, there have been joint account, they are forced to sign. If we had time, I would really have given you so many examples. Now, the challenge is money. They don't have money to follow and file a case. If they have money, the few of the widows who have money, if you file that case, you are threatened to be killed physically by the in-laws. They will tell you. They are blackmailed, and you're told if you mention, then you will see. Again, if the in-laws have much money than the widow, probably if the widow had some money, these in-laws make sure they shift the court hearing from Nyandarua to Nyeri to Nairobi until you just give. They frustrate you completely.
Frustrate the entire process.
Yes, I tell you. It is very. Let me tell you, it is just. It is a very humiliating state of affair.
Yeah.
So I want to thank AJS, led by Apostle Ngao, here in Nakuru. AJS, we had partnered with the legal aid, and the legal aid will only help the widow to walk through the court process, interpret the court terminologies, and also try to interpret the dates. You know, the way when you get into a court, the readings are so fast, sometimes you cannot even understand. Sure. So the legal aid helps the widow to interpret what the court is saying. Yes. So, and wakili mashinani. But this widow still needs money to make sure they follow. But I want to thank God in this TV today because of Apostle Ngao together with his team. I think the judiciary has given them a mandate to take the cases that are in court and handle them as AJS.
Right.
And this one process takes very few, maybe probably a month or weeks, depending with the nature of the case.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank God, and now we are emphasizing, we are also sensitizing the widows. I thank God because of this organization. I thank God because of Papa Songao, because he has worked with us since last year annual conference. From the time in New Tabernacle, he has worked with us, and they have committed to get back the court, the court cases that are already have been, adjourned. Widow goes, borrows money. When you reach at the court case, the court has been shifted like that. Oh. So they have committed to take the cases from the court. Then they handle it here in Nakuru. So I'm also even telling our viewers, our widows who are viewing us, yesterday they announced, and we were able to take a number of the court cases that are already in court, that they are ready to take them from there. So yes, so any widow listening to us, and probably you have a case, you have a court case, you write to us and tell us which court. You tell us the nature of the case, in which court, and then we will channel it to Apostle Ngao's team, and then they will solve it soonest possible.
Wow,
yes.
Thank you so much, Director Mary, for that. We'll be able to pick up from there. And right now we want also to find out from Kenyans, what is their take, what is their view, what is their perspective on what they think are some of the main challenges that face widows in the society. Our reporter went to the streets to interact with Kenyans, and this is what he was able to gather. Our director can also give us that particular area.
Alafu tatuambia changamoto ambazo wajane wanapitia katika jamii, familia, na haki gani ambazo jamii inakiuka katika jamii, haki gani za mjane ambazo zinakiukwa katika taifa na katika jamii.
Katika taifa ni kusema ni kama wajane wamesahauliwa, na kama hauna certificate of marriage, we hauna chochote. Kwa sababu saa nyingine hata familia wamekunyima idea ya mzee mwenye mlikuwa mnaishi na yeye, na wamekupuuza, hawakutambui, na labda the man hakuwa na chochote kile. Sasa si unaona, sasa ukishawachwa wewe unakuwa a single mother, na unajiangalia, unajitegemea. Na kama serikali hata waweze kusikiliza mwito kama huo, na waweze kusema hata kama haumkuwa mmefanya marriage na unatambulikana, una watoto wa hiyo familia, wanaonekana na hata majina ni zao na wanafana tu na hiyo familia, waweze kushughulikia huyo mama, itakuwa nzuri. Lakini kama sasa hawatasaidia ama watashughulikia wale wajane, tuna end up wengine kuenda kwa bar. Mtu mwenye hajielewi anaenda up to the bus kugojea wale vijana vidogo, na hiyo haitasaidia, italeta tu magonjwa, ndio itazidi kuenea katika nchi yetu. Katika familia ni kama sasa, kama hutaweza kutambulika, unajua, na hauwaelewi, ama kama hakuna shamba ilikuwa kwa mahali pale, unajua wezi jisqueeze kwa the brothers ama kwa the sisters. Sasa utaenda kukomboa nyumba na kuanza kazi ya vibarua. Na kuna wengine basi wenye wako na mashamba, maybe wengine wanafukuzwa, wanasaulika kabisa, wanasema hawajui. Hata katika ile mazishi hapo ndio wanaanzaga nini makona, wanaanza kuleta kumention mabibi wengine, na katika hata ile historia hiyo eulogy unakuta wameandika mwanamke mwingine plus wewe. Kama mimi nilifanywa hivyo, nilikuta eulogy wameandika 2 names. Wakanisema I'm the first wife, but there was another wife alikuwa tina mtoto mmoja. Lakini nikasema haitasomwa, na nikapuuza, nikasema haitasomwa, mpaka wakatengeneza eulogy nyingine kusema the man alikuwa kwa mtoto wa fulani but akakufa. Sasa unaona, sasa hawajatambua watoto, wajanitambua, hakuna mwenye wametambua. Sasa I ended there.
Mi kitu yenye naweza sema, changamoto nini wachane wanapitia mwanaume akikufa atoke kwa hiyo nyumba, changamoto inajaa. Sasa ujulikani hata kienye ulikuwa unafanya kwa hiyo nyumba, ajui kama ulikuwa unampikia ama uko unampikia, ulisana yeye watoto ama uko sana yeye watoto, lakini hagitoka. Sasa nyumba si yako, utafukuzwa na utajulikana. Kama ni proti umenyanganywa. Hawa jamii sasa, madada, mandugu, hata yani hata watoto ya mandugu wale wako na baba yao hapo watakuingilia. Na wakikuingilia sasa una rako kwa hiyo boma. Sasa hiyo ndio changamoto sana sana. Inaingilia kwa mume amekufiwa na, yani mume amekufa, mwanamke amepaki na watoto. Sasa hata vyombo kwa nyumba wanaweza kuja wabebe, lakini huna haki ya kuuliza. Sasa tunauliza, wakati uliolewa si walijua huko kwa hiyo boma? Mbona unini ukiolewa ukiletu umepata umefanya familia hapo, sasa nyuma yake Saira anatoka tena, wewe si wa hiyo familia. Haki itatoka wapi kwa wajane ili tusisumbuliwage sana? Pendekeza sheria ni ile naweza sema, ukiolewa kwa hiyo boma wewe umejulikana kwa kama wa hiyo boma, jamii kabisa. Si ati ni kama yani mlikuwa chama na chama imekatika. Sasa utambulike kama mtu wa hiyo boma na ukue ni wa hiyo boma. Vitu kama ulikuwa na nguvu yako ukatengeneza vitu yako, ikue ni yako. Lakini ukipenda kuona wenzako hawana na uwapenda wewe ulikuwa nayo, kiwapea, kwa hiyo ni hali yako, lakini wasikuje kuingia kwa nyumba kukunyang'anya.
Thank you very much. Some of the problems that we normally see the widowers they are going through, at times the clan people, most especially the family people, whom those people who inherited that family, are the one who normally cause such problems, because they want to grab some properties like land. You know, they squeeze these children and these mothers so that they may also get a share in that family. They don't consider so much that this woman was a woman of that husband. So for them, they think that after their brother has died, they think that their property is for them. But that property has to be for the mother and her children. That one, it is for the mother and their children. So the only right that what I can see that the government can help is that the people in the family themselves are the ones who should have a right to own their properties and that home.
And what you have said, you have asked me about the widows. Widows, once the husbands have slept or have died, you get sometimes family members take advantage of the left one who has been left, the widow, so that maybe they take properties of their brothers or their sister, so that sometimes you get there's other families, they gang up and they chase away the widow. When the widow has been left by the husband, it is possible that the community will gang up and maybe lace up. You get sometimes there's also ones who have been married and they have young children who are under 18, they are in school. You get that the widows struggle a lot to educate these children. If it is possible, the government will take care of by giving maybe bursaries. Most of the times you get that the bursaries are there in the constitution, in the constituency, but those ones who use these bursaries are those people who are well off. They even forget the widows.
Kuna mambo mengi sana wajane wanapitiaga, wako na ugumu sana. Kupitia katika sheria, hatuoni vile wajane wanafikiriwa na serikali. Ni kwa sababu kuna mambo mingi wanapitia ya kijamii, kuna mambo mingi wanapitia katika serikali. Tungependekeza kama itapitishwa, wajane wakuwe wakifikiriwa, ni kwa sababu wanadhulumiwa katika jamii, na wangependekeza serikali naye iwakumbuke.
Na changamoto zenye wamama wanapitia, wale ambao wameachwa na waume wao, moja ni kama kunyang'anywa haki yako. Unapata mkiwa na mzee wako, mlikuwa mmekaa kwa amani, mlikuwa mmekaa vizuri, lakini wakati mume wako anaondoka, unapata labda watu wenyu kwa kina mzee wanakuamkia, hawataki kukuona, wengine wanakufukuza, wengine wanakunyang'anya shamba yako. Mambo kama hiyo ndio nimeona kwa wale ambao ni wajane. Sasa mama mjane hastahili kunyang'anywa haki yake, kwa sababu akikuja kwa hiyo jamii, alikuja akiamini hao ndio watu wao. Na ikifika wakati ifike ati wakati mume wake ameondoka, wale ulikuwa unadhania ndio watu wenyu, unapata ndio hao wamekuacha, hawataki kukuona, wengine wanakufanyia madharau. Kama kuna rafiki yangu mwingine nilipata akiniambia nyumba yake alipata imechomwa, kachomewa kila kitu, na ni ndugu ya mume wake. Sasa unaona mambo kama hiyo sio mambo mzuri.
Kwa maana hiyo watoto wote watupa, shida ni mingi. Kikuja hapa hakuna kazi, hapa ndio kwangu, hapa ndio nimelelea watoto na wamesoma na hapa. Sasa nisema nini? Mashida iko, lakini yetu nasia.
Na watu wa familia wanakusaidia nini?
Mimi tu. Mimi na watoto wangu. Alinisaidia siku moja kama mtoto wangu amepita kwenda university. Lakini wakuendelea, ni siku ya kwanza nikuwaomba ili waomba. Kafanya kidogo ndio akanitupia kaki. Tusaidie tu. Asaidia mama wajane. Kama hakuna mtu nategemea, sisi hakuna wazee, hakuna baba, hakuna soso, wote walikufa. Sasa sisi tunakaa hivi.
Thank you so much, Silas Cheminingo. That is our reporter, Silas Cheminingo. Of course, on the streets, trying to also get some of the opinions and some of the perspectives from Kenyans on what they also think about the rights of widows. And our guest for this particular show, Director Mary and also Director Anne, it's like majority of Kenyans are also sharing the same sentiments that you're talking about here. And it's like they're already also seeing what we are talking about in relation to some of the sufferings that widows go through when they're in that particular state. Maybe what would you make of some of those sentiments?
Listening to the sentiments, I would really speak to the government of Kenya. We need to have a department that will look after the problem, and if there will be funds that will be directed to the widows. Widows, not women. Because for a period of time...
We have funds for women.
Yeah. We have funds for women.
We don't have any category for widows. Is it that they are associated, they are included with the women?
They cluster them with the women. And let me tell you, the women cannot work together with the widows, because the same women are the same people who think the widows are their husbands' snatchers. So every time they are put together, they cannot work together. Because I am your suspect, I am the suspect to the women. So I urge the government of Kenya to set aside a department for widows. And this department, let it be run by people who are wise, full of Spirit of God. Because again, when we put in this department goons who will redirect again the funds, the struggle will continue. Widows will continue to cry. So we need to form a department, and we set aside funds that should be allocated direct to a widow. Over the period of time, we know how to make sure we verify if one is a widow. So let us have such a department that will take care of the widow. Again, let the law be clear. And if it is already there, because I know after the death of a husband, the property is directly, of course, should be directly given to the widow. But culturally and traditionally, that is not the case. I don't know where the problem is.
Is it under the matrimonial laws?
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know where the problem is, because again, we still face the same problem. Widows are still facing the same problem when the law is still there. So we need to look into a way that will make sure the widows are well sensitized and they are directed where to go. But again, it will be a challenge because they are also threatened by the in-laws. Go and you will come, we will kill you. So they are threatened not even to approach and even go file a case. Exactly. So widows suffer in silence.
I would also want you, Director Mary, before I come to Director Anne, to also talk about this other major challenge and violation, harassment that they go through, the sexual harassment.
Thank you very much. I don't know. I don't know whether I put it in Kenyan language or I don't know what. Kenyans should know that widows are not husband snatchers. They are not murderers. The society should understand that. They are not murderers. They are not witches. Widows are humankind, created by God, allocated time of living under the sun. So it is only God who knows when widows should leave this planet. So I really want to talk also to the leaders in our churches, in our society. There has been sexual harassment in a very high degree to the widows, because anytime a widow want to be, maybe is going to report something or want some favor or they want to be assisted, the only thing that they can afford and they have it for free is that. So they asked, like it is only that,
so
which is
subjected to that torture.
They are subjected to that day in, day out. And we have very many testimonies. As the clergy, because I'm also a pastor myself, when a widow approaches you and tells you their predicament, and especially if it touches school fees, that is, a child is supposed to go to school. If it touches food in a house, and apparently, like we've had Penina testify that the husband died out of AIDS. Yeah. So we also have very many widows, because most men died out of alcoholism. And you know, this one goes together with sexual indulgence. So like you find most of them had AIDS, they were sick. So many of our widows are living in AIDS. So they need good food, because the medicine that they take are very strong. So my friends, pastors, when the widows in your church come to you and they tell you they don't have food, they tell you they don't have school fees, please don't just pray. Don't just expect a miracle. Miracles happen, yes. And I'm a believer of miracles.
Take some other.
Take some action. Give some food. I suggest every church, please, make a basket at the entrance. Announce to the well-wishers and people who are well up in the church. Come with a packet of unga. Drop it there. Come with some rice. Come with some food. And you know, widows, they don't even have a menu. They eat what is available. So let every church embrace this. Let us take care of our widows. These are our people in the society.
So that is to paint a scenario of how dire the situation is.
Yes.
The majority of them can like as basic item as food.
Yes. Yes. They lack food day in, day out. They lack food. Please, and if we have any well-wisher listening to us, and any relative, any people who have widows in their area, stop grabbing. Stop taking their property. The Bible says in the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verses 22, if you afflict a widow in any way, God's anger will rise. And it will only rest after murdering, after making one's people widows or orphans.
Sure,
so society take care of the widows.
Absolutely. And the Director Anne, now this comes to what we can also talk about when it comes to economic empowerment of widows, because maybe to majority of them, when maybe they are left by their husbands who are the sole breadwinners of their homes, they are left in a situation whereby they don't have money, they don't have any means to get food on their table. What do you think, even coming from maybe Tabernacle Home of Widows, what do you think needs to be done in relation to the economic empowerment of this group?
Thank you very much. According to Tabernacle, we wish and pray that we empower our widows. We encourage them to work. We encourage them to even have creativity in their hands, because we know God is their husbands. And you know, God will bless the work of their hands. We encourage them. We find even the young women who don't work, we even give them some funds to start a small business, like a small business, just a small thing, and they succeed. We've seen so many of them, we raise so many of them, and they are succeeding. They really work and they love their job. When we just assist them, and that's why we were talking about even when we get funds, we can really help the vulnerables. We know them and we have their names, and we just go inside, we go down to the community and we get them. We really empower them. We are doing practical action, and we encourage them to do clean cooking. We encourage them to use fuel firewood with those clay jikos, and others we do the briquettes of the coal, the charcoal, the improvised one. We do them. We encourage them to do that, and they sell them, they get their money. So we really have to do some brain thinking on what we're going to do with our widows, because we want them to have their money in their pockets. Because it is those things that they encourage them to beg, and they are being eliminated, and they are being used, and they are being blackmailed. But if they have their money and they are loved, we just teach them spiritually and economically. They love themselves and they work for their people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That is so awesome.
Yes, and just to add on that, Tabernacle Widows Home is training all widows, and we had a meeting for the leaders all over the county. Yes. We are training them to make briquettes. We are buying charcoal dust from them. So we encourage them to collect charcoal dust from their states. When they get like 10 sacks plus, they call us, we go and collect it. So we are empowering them through collecting the raw materials to make briquettes. We are also building to institutions the clean cooking jikos. So if you're listening to us and probably you have a school, you have a church, probably here you have not you have not done a good jiko. Tabernacle Widows Home does the building of clean cooking jikos that will probably be safe to mankind. And also we are partnering with Practical Action, as my director has said, so that we make sure we build these clean cooking jikos to the institutions, to the churches, and even to homes. Again, we are approaching the Ministry of Environment and is it Ministry and also Agriculture. So we want the county to give us a space. We have started the negotiation. We want a space. We also want to be funded. We get some seedlings. We want to plant trees in Nakuru. We want to do the germination. And then we want the government to show us where they want us to plant, because we have identified Solai, Kambiamoto, and also some parts in Naivasha. So we are ready to work. We have trained our widows to work, and we are ready to work. We lack funds, but we have a big God. Wow. We lack funds, but we have a big God. If we engage the widows into working, the emotional hurting will just go.
Will just go, yeah.
Then,
so the more they are kept active, the
more they heal.
Yeah, the more they heal.
The more they heal. And again, the more they are able to handle money.
Okay.
You know, a sick person cannot handle money.
You're right.
So we heal them spiritually, because the vision and the mission of Tabernacle is to interactively engage every widow spiritually, emotionally, and economically. So we heal them spiritually. We make sure we direct them to God. They know their plus value. And then emotionally, we squeeze the pain. And then again, now we push the funds for them to start working. And they are working now.
Yes.
They are really working.
Thank you so much. And of course, you know, we also have that particular segment in this particular show that is normally prepared by my colleague Paul Kagi, the landmark ruling segment. My director is telling me that particular bit is ready, and you can be able to see what Kagi prepared for us as far as the landmark ruling is concerned. Stay tuned.
A Paris court found a former Rwanda military policeman guilty of genocide and crime.
Idea. What would be your rallying call to the society, to stakeholders, in terms of coming on board and to ensure that this very, very noble task and assignment is realized?
Thank you. We are determined as Tabernacle Widows Home. We have a facility already that is 70% over. And our funds have been tied somewhere, so we are not able to finish it. So I'm calling to the society and the stakeholders. And first of all, before I even tell them, I wish to tell everyone that you don't need to have millions for you to help, for you to assist.
For you to extend a hand.
Yes, you only need to have a willing heart.
Wow.
A willing heart. When you have a willing heart, then the Lord will make a way. So we lack so many things. Like, for example, we are doing the briquettes. The briquette needs molasses, it needs the charcoal dust, it needs a machine, of course, because now we are producing manually. We come like 100 widows. Then like when you do like 100 at once, you have 100 briquettes. Like that. So I am calling out there, if you wish to extend your hand to Tabernacle Widows Home, there's so much that we need. We welcome all the well-wishers to reach out. We also welcome them to the facility. They come and see what we have done. Actually, we were opening it last Saturday with the widows. We just came and decided to pray as it was, because you know the Lord is going to open ways. So we are calling out to the society. We will be having our annual conference on in August this year, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So we are calling out. In fact, we planned the calendar last year. We do not have funds. Of course, annual conference will need to feed the widows. We need a place to host them. So we need a lot of resources.
The whole county?
The whole county, and Baringo County, and Meru County, and yes, and the neighboring county.
Approximately how many?
We will be 4,000 widows here in Nakuru.
4,000?
Yes, last year we were 2,000. Yes, you came. We were 2,000 here at Nakuru Girls. So this year we might be either we are projecting 4,000 to 6,000. And our budget is already out for the same. If you have food, if you have anything, please extend your hand. Let it make it happen. Let it make it possible for the widows. We thank God every time we have meetings for the widows. There are so many miracles that happen. They have so many miracles. I mean, they have so many testimonies. You know, because of the humiliation, most of their kids indulge in alcoholism, drug trafficking, and so forth. They have testimonies their children have been transformed already, because spiritually we have fed them very well. So we are calling out to the society, thanking the women rep of Nakuru County. Even yesterday, she's the one who gave us rice. Until 2 days to the meeting, we did not have food, but we trusted God. She has always been used as an angel to Tabernacle Widows Home. And we also thank our administrator, Mr. Mugambi, the one who has given us a place, the one who has built us that place. So we really thank him so much. We also thank the fathers of this city, led by Apostle Ngao. And we call them, I am calling them to make it happen for these widows in August, because that is a major event that we'll be having. And the raw materials. You could be having iron sheet, bring it to the facility. You could be having the machines to make briquettes, bring them. We need the clay from Kisumu to make the clay, to make the affordable jikos. So we also need to, we normally send a lorry to Kisumu, they bring it here. We need a lot of funds. Wow. Most of our widows are very old, as you saw. They are very old. So we are looking forward to make sure we have a home. Because like we speak right now, about 50 old widows, 73 and above, they have been left by the families.
Of course, when they are in that very elderly stage, the issue of health becomes very pertinent.
Yes. So we have like more than 50 already in our list that they don't have a place to live. We need to evacuate them from where they are living. We bring them to the home. So we are also looking forward to have a land. You could be having acres and acres of land. Give us only 20 acres.
Thank you so much, Director Mary. That's a very, very good appeal. It's a worthy appeal. It's a very noble appeal because when we show them that kind of support and that kind of help, basically, that will really lead to the transformation of their lives. Before we bring it to a close, let's have our leadership profile for today. And today we are featuring Justice William Ooko. Justice William Ooko. He is a judge of the Supreme Court of Kenya. He holds a Bachelor's of Laws degree from the University of Nairobi. Justice William Ooko was nominated by the Judicial Service Commission for the seat of a judge of the Supreme Court. That was way back in 5th of May 2021. Then on 9th March 2018, he served as the President of the Court of Appeal of Kenya. He has a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Nairobi and a diploma in legal practice from the Kenya School of Law. Some other highlights about Justice William Ooko is that he has practiced law briefly at Mbogoli and Msaga and Company Advocates, Mombasa in 1987. Then he joined the judiciary as District Magistrate 2, that is professional, the same year. He was elevated to the High Court as a judge in 2004. He was appointed as a Court of Appeal judge in 2012. And on 9th of March 2018, he was elected by his colleagues as the President of the Court of Appeal, where he served until June 2021. So those are some of the highlights about Justice William Ooko, who is a judge of the Supreme Court of Kenya. That, of course, is a segment that we always bring to you. And maybe just quickly, we can also have a look at our legal terminology for the day, so that at least you can educate yourself with a term that is normally maybe found along the judiciary corridors. Exclusionary rule, that is our legal terminology for the day, exclusionary rule. And when you talk about exclusionary rule, this is what it means. It is a doctrine that says evidence obtained in violation of a criminal defendant's constitutional or statutory rights is not admissible at trial. When you talk about exclusionary rule, is a doctrine that says evidence obtained in violation of a criminal defendant's constitution or statutory rights is not admissible at trial. So today you have made yourself aware of a legal term by exclusionary rule. Exclusionary rule. So that is our legal terminology for today. We have like 1 minute. You can take 30 seconds, 30 seconds. I'll start with you, Director Anne, as we bring this to a close. What is your parting shot?
My parting shot is that we pray that the government might embrace our widows.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
in so many ways. they take that action.
Thank you so much. Director Mary?
To the widows, I wanted to give you the theme of International Widows Day 2024. It is better to be a widow of a hero than a wife of a coward. So embrace yourself as widows of hero, because we have so many women out here who are married by coward men. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the noble task that you're doing in the society. And maybe in case we have a viewer who is watching you and maybe they're wondering, how do they meet you? Or how can they maybe be in a position, maybe they have some kind of support, where do they reach you?
All right, you may reach us on our Facebook page, Tabernacle Widows Home. We also have our website that you'll also find it in there. You can also reach us on our personal Facebook pages. You can write Mary Mutavi. You will find all the details there. You can also reach to us through our cell phone numbers. We have our number 0724 172 000, 0724 172 000, or 0722 444 322. 0722 444 322. Those two numbers, you either get me or get Director Anne.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Director Mary and Director Anne.
Thank you.
And we look forward for more interaction, even as we believe that the society is really going to change and shift their mindset as far as supporting and upholding the rights of widows is concerned.
Thank you.
Thank you to our dear viewer for making time to be with us, and on behalf of the entire team making this particular production a success for today. We'll see you again tomorrow on Leadership Wednesday edition. Until then, enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Mangicho Mola.